Hey everybody, today I'm going to do a comparison video between two of the top models of half-inch pneumatic impact wrenches on the market today. Now that's going to include the Ingersoll 2235 and then the Proto J150WP. Now what you want to keep in mind, either one of these is going to be the most powerful half-inch model that either brand makes, but they are going to be slightly different, specifically the different features and the power levels. So what I want to do in this video is give you some side-by-side comparison shots. We'll see the advantages and disadvantages of each, and then we're going to be doing torque testing, specifically reverse working torque testing using a Skidmore Wilhelm, and we'll be able to see exactly what the power levels are with both impacts. Taking a closer look at the impacts side by side, you can see the overall height on them is going to be pretty much the same, but I do want to point out the big difference here, and that's going to be the grips. Now the grip on the Proto is going to be a softer rubbery overmold, similar to let's say a drill or an impact driver, and then the Ingersoll Rand, although it is textured, is going to be very hard plastic. Now that could be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't think you're going to have quite the gripping ability on here like the rubberized grip. But let's say you spill shop chemicals on it, the rubberized grip could swell and deform, where this hard plastic grip most likely won't get damaged, and I think worst case would probably just get discolored. The anvil on each of them is going to be a friction or hog ring anvil, and it's not a pin detent version. So you can take any impact socket, slide it right in place, it's going to click right in, and then pop right off in just a matter of seconds, which is going to be ideal for any automotive uses. One of the best features of the Proto is the fact that it's so well balanced and it has great weight distribution. Specifically, 50% of the weight's on the back and 50% of the weight's on the front, and it doesn't want to tilt backwards or forwards when you use it. Now to really prove that to you, what I'll do is just go ahead and set it directly on the workbench. But what we'll do is actually line it up with the flat plug on the bottom. So taking that plug, lining it up with the metal tabletop, I can go ahead and just let go of the impact and it's not going to fall over. To change the speed or power modes as well as the directional change, it will be completely different with the two impacts. The Proto has everything located directly behind the trigger, and it's set up for ambidextrous use, so you don't have to change anything if you're left or right-handed. It does have the same settings on both sides of the trigger. Now what I want to point out with this, there's a dial here that says 1, 2, and 3. 3 being the high torque or high speed mode, 2 being the mid-range, and then 1 being the low speed or low torque mode. To change the directions, the little tab directly behind that dial, you'll move up or down, and that's going to change the direction of the anvil instantly. As far as the Ingersoll Rand goes, everything is going to be located on the rear of it. There's a large dial in the back that will be for your speed or power modes, and this one has 4 possible settings, with the low being over here on the left-hand side, and then the high being all the way on the right. To change directions, there's 2 different buttons underneath of that dial. You'll press in the left side to go in reverse, and you'll press in the right side to go in forward. Now lastly, both impacts do have grease ports on the front nose cone. The Ingersoll Rand is on the underside of it, directly above the trigger, and then the Proto is going to be directly behind the anvil on the front. Now for a torque test, I'll be using a Skidmore Wilhelm Model R with a 1 1/4 inch bolt and a 2 inch nut. With this combination, I can accurately measure bolt tension in pounds up to 110,000. You take whatever the reading is, divide it by 70, and that's going to give you a working torque rating. Now in this Skidmore, I actually have a reverse threaded nut and bolt, so what we're going to be measuring is reverse working torque. And I'll be doing 3 runs on each impact, alternating impacts between each run. They will each have a 15-second run time at 90 psi, and that's going through a 1/2 inch air line, 3/8 inch air fittings, and coming out of an 80-gallon Ingersoll Rand air compressor. Also, in between each run, I will be cleaning off all the lubrication off the back of the nut, on the washer face as well as the threads, and putting on a fresh coating of R-0050 test bolt lube from Skidmore Wilhelm. It's specifically designed to work along with this unit to give us very accurate results. Now lastly, I'll also be using a brand new impact socket. This is a Sunex Model 264. It's a 1/2 inch drive, 2 inch impact socket. And I want to thank Sunex for sending this over so we can get very accurate results. Well, we just got done with all the torque testing and the numbers were very consistent with each impact. The Proto ranged from 79,500 to 80,500 pounds of bolt tension, with an average of 80,000. Divide that by a factor of 70 because of the nut and bolt combination we're using. It comes up with a working reverse torque rating on it of 1,143 foot-pounds. The Ingersoll ran ranged anywhere from 83,500 to 84,000 pounds of bolt tension, with an average of 83,667. Divide that by a factor of 70 and it comes up with a reverse working torque rating on it of 1,195 foot-pounds. So now you've seen a side-by-side comparison of the Ingersoll ran 2235 and then the Proto J150WP. Now both of these are going to be excellent impact wrenches, but if you're looking for the most comfortable, well-balanced one, I definitely think the Proto would win. And like I showed you in that clip, it will actually stand upright on its plug without falling over because it does have true 50-50 weight distribution. When you're holding on to it, it doesn't want to tilt backwards or tilt forwards on you. As far as the Ingersoll ran goes, it does have additional weight towards the front. And if you do get the extended Anvil version, that's going to be really amplified and you're going to notice it even more. Now the good thing about having an extended Anvil versus just a standard Anvil, let's say you're doing tire work all the time, removing lug nuts, having this on there is not going to create torque loss like a standard Anvil with a small extension on it. So to get maximum power through the fastener, this is definitely going to be the way to go. Now as far as the power levels go, when we tested them out on the Skidmore Wilhelm, they both came in at over 1,100 foot-pounds, but the Ingersoll ran came in at over 50 foot-pounds more powerful than the Proto. So if you're looking for the most powerful impact between the two of these, the Ingersoll ran would win. Now I do want to point out one other thing as far as manufacturer advertised specs. They say nut busting, breakaway, or max torque. When the Ingersoll ran is coming in at 1,350 foot-pounds, the Proto is coming in at 1,260. So there was a 90 foot-pound difference there. But when we tested out the actual working torque, it turns out it's roughly about half of that. If you like this video, please click like. If you like my channel, please click subscribe. And thanks for watching.